I want to take you back to a simpler time. A time where the MCU was just beginning its monumental run. Superhero movies coming out once or twice a year, and that feeling of finally getting to your seats, waiting to experience this new addition to the MCU with a fully crowded theater. That time of the MCU was something special, and you can't deny it. And now, it looks like we're heading into the downfall of the MCU, where there's movies and TV shows once every week, it seems like, and it's too much for anyone to handle. There's a lack of good writing, and that leads to a lack of cohesion among the universe. And if we're talking about the downfall of the MCU, how can I forget not to mention the introduction to Marvel Phase 4, the MCU. Let's not waste any more time here, folks. I'm going to be completely honest with you. The MCU is dead, and the Marvels is going to be the nail in the coffin. This movie that comes out November 10th is going to lose a lot of money for Disney, Marvel, and Kevin Feige. What? How can that be? Everyone loves the Marvel movies, and obviously they want to see the strong female character Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, team up with a bunch of other strong female characters who are diverse, right? They want to see them team up and fight this super evil villain who's also a strong, diverse female character who's probably just misunderstood and probably ends up teaming together to fight the patriarchy or something. And I bet none of this will feel forced at all. Like I said, the Marvels is projected to bomb at the box office, and that's just not my opinion. That's also the opinion on some experts out there. This comes from Deadline. The Marvels heading for 75 to 80 million opening, roughly 50% lower than Captain Marvel 3-day early box office look. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about the first Captain Marvel movie. That movie actually made a lot of money for the franchise, but it's probably because it came out during Infinity War and Endgame. You know, the two most important films in the MCU franchise.
No, it's because people want to see a strong female character, and they've been waiting for this movie.
Yeah, sure. Okay, now 75 million to 80 million may seem a lot for a movie to make in its opening weekend, but this is a Marvel movie, which means it had a high budget, which means it needs a good opening weekend to make some of its money back. So how does this opening weekend projection compare to the overall budget of this film? Well, the production budget for this film was roughly $207 million. And that budget does not include advertising, which I imagine will probably add another 100 million or so. But the Deadline article does continue on and gives us a reason why these projections are so low. Why the fall off? Chiefly, let's be honest, as we've overwritten, it doesn't help to have a tentpole out there during a strike, sans its cast shouting from the cliffs. There's been no San Diego or New York City Comic-Con push of any kind for this movie or strutting on social due to the strike. Oh yes, how can I forget? It's the lack of actors and actresses promoting the film that's causing this low projection in the box office. I mean, how else are we supposed to get people to go see this movie, guys, without the actors and actresses going on the red carpet and guilt-shaming the audience? All it takes is Brie Larson to go out there on a late-night show and just talk about how if you don't buy tickets to this MCU flick, then you are the problem, you are the bigot, you are the sexist. It works every time.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Honestly, keeping the actors and everyone silent is probably helping the film than hurting it. I mean, look what happened with that actress, Rachel Zegler. Disney let this actress, who's playing Snow White, go on red carpets and discuss how she hates the original film. Smart move, Disney.
She's not going to be safe for the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Stop it. Get some help.
I mean, after that whole debacle, Disney told her to shut up and they delayed the project. From Peoples, Disney's live-action Snow White with Rachel Zegler gets pushed to 2025. Oh, see the first photo.
You serious?
Anyways, back to this Deadline article about the low projection numbers for the Marvels. Also, some sources are telling us that audiences aren't connecting the Captain Marvel IP to other two characters in the franchise, which starred in Miss Marvel and WandaVision. See, now this is something I can agree with. I think a lot of people are just tired of MCU just shoving content down their throat. Looking back on things, I think the Disney Plus shows were a terrible idea. They should have just either been movies or just short films put on Disney Plus. Because I think people were okay with going to the theater once, twice, even 3 times a year to catch up on the MCU lore. It actually made it better for the overall theater experience. People were excited to go to the movies. People stayed after the movie was over just to see a little clip from a future project. But with these TV shows coming out, it feels like you have to be a full-time MCU TV watcher to keep up with lore that may or may not be in the movies. And these shows are garbage, and that's not good enough, especially when you've been fed movies as Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Infinity Wars, Black Panthers. With the name Marvel, you expect content to be as good, if not better, than those movies. You don't want to see some weird show that's super meta with obscure pop culture references.
Leave me alone!
I fully accepted that the MCU has peaked with Endgame, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's going to get better, because I don't think it will. And the Marvels is just the beginning of the end. And it seems like Kevin Feige and the crew know this as well, because there are projects down the line that are just dead in the water, and they know it. This comes from The Hollywood Reporter. Daredevil hits reset button as Marvel overhauls its TV business. How was this not the decision made in the first place when they saw how poorly they treated this character in She-Hulk? They made him do a walk of shame, for Christ's sake.
Morning.
It didn't take long to see the problem after Marvel Studios' Daredevil, Born Again, paused production in mid-June during the writer's strike. Fewer than half of the series' 18 episodes had been shot, but it was enough for Marvel executives, including Chief Kevin Feige, to review the footage and come away with a clear-eyed assessment. The show wasn't working. Most of the audience from the MCU has been saying this one thing for years, right? This shit is ass. And it seems like the executives and the big producers at Marvel just ignored those fans who were saying, hey, start listening to us and not, join the Panderverse. But no, we had to find the most diverse characters from the Marvel comics and give them their own movie and TV shows first. And now it's gotten so bad that Kevin Feige has had enough. And maybe this wouldn't have happened if Marvel decided to, hire good writers instead of just picking a diverse POC who wrote a script one time. But hey, which would you rather have, okay? Good writing or a black pan demisexual writer who may or may not ruin this character? I know what I'm picking. They know it's getting bad, and they know it's going to get worse. Hence why they are just completely overhauling their TV business and basically canceling Daredevil outright. And even getting back to the Marvels, they did countless reshoots because they weren't too pleased with what they were going to put out. It doesn't even look like they're happy with the reshoots they done either, because they are pushing back the review embargo to closer to the release date. So we won't be able to see people's reviews on how bad this movie probably is until right before the movie comes out. They really want to minimize those harsh critics who are sexist and bigots and only hate the movie because there's a woman in it. How dare they? But of course, no matter how good or bad this movie actually is, there's going to be people out there who will shill for this movie, say it's the best, just like they did for She-Hulk and Rings of Power. But of course, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think about the Marvels, the MCU, all of that in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.